Hey there, viewer. Let me talk to you about the Bambino conspiracy, or at least that's how I call it. Long ago, in the distant time of October 2023, I, Murphy, aka Cake the Third, decided to delve deeper into murder drones for the sake of making an inappropriate song that would have been called Uzi Doorman and She Only 14. But this begged the question, how old is Uzi? And this was followed by a logical conclusion that fan Wikipedias are full of rubbish, and no one should ever use them. So I began my journey by rewatching the pilot episode all the way to the Cabin Fever episode. It was supposed to be a quick thing, get in and get out, but every time I rewatched an episode, I would notice something new. I rewatched all the available episodes 11 different times. Then I lost track of time, and 2 days later, I walked out of my room in a sweaty frenzy, rambling to my wife about the cute emo toaster and the weird rabbit hole I had found. Days turned into weeks as I began to delve deeper into the creator Liam Vickers to find clues that would solve the case of the missing Bambino. For the record, the show has never stated any ages for the main characters, and neither has Glitch Production, so any guesses or claims from anyone are speculatory and not canon. Also, when I was working on this way back, I was not involved in the Murder Drones fandom and had no idea Twitter was having a shipping war between Nusi and the Envy ships. And for the record, that is the correct ship because he has a Dead Batteries t-shirt like Uzi. Bite me. The following are interesting findings that I have collected and gathered to this day. The first thing I noticed were the missing posters in the prom episode. If you look closely, each missing victim has information about them including their age. Their ages go from 18 years to 20. Normally this would have solved the case here, but these were not Uzi's classmates. They were the prom queen nominees who were specifically targeted by Doll. So it doesn't exactly confirm that Uzi is a senior, but something I noticed was a weird time jump between the missing girls' deaths. The first missing girl was started in February, and a new girl goes missing each month all the way until April. Something to note here is that schools usually have their prom in May, so the story made a massive time jump of several months from episode 1 and 2 to get to episode 3. But then it gets stranger. In episode 4, we have another massive time skip of several months. But instead of ending up in December, we end up in the month of Sarah Morris. Sarah Morris is the 13th month of Copper 9. Because it's a different solar system, it's not unusual for them to have a few different months. We know that they are in this month because Glitch Production released a teaser before the Cabin Fever episode named Cabin Fever 13133071.mob. Also, we know that this new month is called Sarah Morris because Uzi finds it in the calendar in the Cabin Fever episode. In this video, we get to see a worker drone record some of the events of the cabin killings from his perspective, and his camera shows that they are in the 13th month on the 13th day of the year 3071. This confirms something very interesting about their school system. This confirms that Uzi and her class were not seniors despite being able to attend the prom, and this also means that the students are stuck with each other and the same teacher for the entirety of their education. Otherwise, they would not be doing a school trip past December if people graduated soon after the prom. Currently in the story, the events of episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7 all take place within 48 hours. So the current timeline for the entire show is episodes 1 and 2 take place within 24 hours of each other. Then we time jump 5 months into May for episode 3's prom. And finally, another time jump of 8 months to get to the rest of the episodes in the series. But why? What could this mean? Well, why not just have everything happen within a few days or weeks? It seems very intentional. Now we get to part 2, the short stack. Let's look at Uzi's height. She makes comments in the show that imply she's very short, and Liam Vickers has also stressed that she is very, very short. But why is this important? Why not have her as the same size as the others? She would still be short when compared to the disassembly drones. Even stranger is we don't have a lot of shots in the show where you can compare her height with the rest of her classmates, almost like they don't want us to notice too easily. We know from the ending of episode 2 when Uzi hugs Khan that her head reaches his chest, but there were no good angles where we could really compare Khan to the other students until now. In the last episode, episode 7, we can see that Lizzie and Thad are the same height as Khan, which means Uzi is only at chest level when compared to the rest of her classmates. This probably contributed to her isolation and bullying. At the time, the only other piece of evidence to provide that Uzi was shorter was in episode 3, where Rebecca trips Uzi. Uzi was so short that she needed several books to stack together and reach her locker. This makes Uzi the shortest student character in the entire show. We have never seen any other younger drones other than Sin, who also happened to be about the same height as Uzi. Now let's talk about the math book. In the same prom episode, we have a scene where Uzi's waking up and feeling guilty about N. To her bottom right, we see a big red book that says Calculus 1. Calculus 1 is a very advanced math course that most seniors in school don't even take. So either the drones are smarter than the average human because they are robots, or perhaps this scene is trying to tell us that Uzi is ahead of her class. The red book seems very intentional. It's one of the few books in the show we can clearly read and know what it's about, so the animators wanted us to notice it. In episode 4, when the students arrive at the cabin fever camp, we have a conversation between the students, the teacher, and Uzi. Here, Uzi states to the class that their teacher is punishing them for failing their test scores, implying only Uzi passed them. All of this makes perfect sense. We see Uzi time and time again do impressive things that the other robots don't seem to do, like building laser guns, mind controlling the students, and hacking disassembly drones. This could be part of her solver powers, but I like to think that it's because she's Khan's daughter. We know Khan is seen as a very important drone in the bunker because of his engineering skills to make doors. And in episode 7, we get to see Khan with his own blueprints and his own laser gun that he's going to use against Jay. But could there be more to this mystery? Liam Vickers likes to recycle characters and ideas from his previous works. Before we had Murder Drones, we had several indie animations and creepypasta stories that have influenced Murder Drones. For example, one of his longest creepypastas that's about 14 hours long is called Design. Murder Drones took a lot of inspiration from this particular story, and something interesting that can be noticed is another high school math mystery. In part 4 of Design in his old channel, Scary Story Time with Liam, we get a scene where our main character is trying to help a girl who seems to be suffering from amnesia. She's a very short girl, and our main character begins to ask her different age grade math questions to determine what her age is based on her math skills and height. In this case, he deducted that she must have been in the 8th grade before she lost her memories. This information would become extremely important for future revelations in that story. So I wonder if the same puzzle is being recycled in Murder Drones. But what do you think? Could all of this be connected in some way? What could it possibly tell us about the ending of Murder Drones? Please like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my channel at Cake the Third.